Welcome back, family, to the Back Issue Book Club for episode number 19.
Woohoo,
Yeah, 19.
getting up there, yes.
Yes. I'm Greg, that's Rich.
Hey.
And this week I barely finished reading our assignment, which was the first volume, basically, of Nova, which is Nova 1 through 12 and Amazing Spider-Man 171 to cap it off from 1976.
Yes. And for only the second time in 19 episodes, I beat you.
Yeah. But it's 2 in a row now, I think, right?
I don't know if it was last week. I thought it was a week before.
Maybe. Oh, well. But yes. So we read this because it was a suggestion from one of our patrons over on Patreon. And we actually had our awesome virtual meetup yesterday.
Oh, man, that was fun.
Of all the patrons. And we got to meet them all, in person.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool. It was awesome, and we got some ideas coming that we brewed up together with all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, it was really important for me to get their feedback on how they want to see certain things happen in the channel, and for them to see that we do take it to heart and listen and obey. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, if you want to be part of that, hit us up on Patreon at patreon.com/TeamOhana. We'd love to have you there and love to get your input on the direction of the channel.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That being said, Nova
1 through 12 and Spider-Man 171.
Yep.
All right. I guess I'll go first this time.
Okay.
Well, usually you go first, so I don't want to put kick you off the plank, walking the plank first every week. So once in a while, I gotta
It's all good.
bite the bullet. I thought it was okay. I definitely could see the different writing styles between back then and now. I had this sense that it was really written for a younger audience, where they would see a high school student as an older person than the reader.
Yep.
And I had the feeling that they were trying to recreate Peter Parker with small differences.
Yeah.
Okay. He's got the same witty responses. He's got the same bully in high school that beats him up all the time. But instead of being a straight A student, he's now he can barely pass the classes, but refers to himself as a nerd.
I found that interesting because the whole time I was like, oh, this is very Spider-Man, but he's not doing well in school.
Right. And his parental figures are still alive.
Yes, that's true. And he gets a girlfriend pretty quickly right off the bat.
She's kind of chasing him more than he's chasing her.
Right. Ginger J.
Yes.
Got to go with the alliteration. Richard Rider, Ginger J.
Yeah. And he's got a younger brother that is a 160 IQ, but keeps inventing things that don't work.
Yeah, set the house on fire.
Yep.
Had to use the fire extinguisher.
Which they needed that fire extinguisher later on. So.
Yes, they did. I remember that. And then you get one of those little asterisks with the check it out in issue number 6, Marv Wolfman or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was Wolfman that put it in there. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we're talking about Wolfman, I really enjoyed the fourth wall breaking of going to Marvel Comics, and they wanted to interview him to see if they wanted to write a comic book about him.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And making it seem like the comic books that they write these are documentaries,
Yeah. This is National Geographics we got here.
Yeah, exactly. These things actually happen. We've signed contracts with these heroes to tell what they do on a daily basis. Their stories, if they're late, it's because they really haven't done anything this week. I've got people following Dracula around, but he hasn't done anything. He's just kind of chilling this week. Another writer is, oh my God, Conan is really falling behind. I gotta hide.
Yeah. And they all answer to Stan, and Stan's this cool guy, and he's never in the office because he's giving lectures and spreading the quote unquote gospel.
Yeah.
But But then he finally makes an appearance, and what did he say? It's a quick appearance, and then he's like leaving the room, and he's like, "Hey, Marv, get on that." I forget what it was.
Oh, I wrote it down. That was a yeah. Shoot. Wait. Where? Oh, it was last. Midas, the millionaire mouse.
Oh yeah,
I'm like Midas Mouse. That's supposed to be like Mickey Mouse.
maybe, yeah. And then at the end of that issue, Richard Rider's like questioning himself. First of all, there's a shit ton of internal dialogue. This whole thing, it's a little much, but he's flying and he's like talking to himself, and he's like, "Man, maybe I'm not good enough for Marvel Comics. Maybe I'll go to the competition."
There is no competition.
And then he's like, actually, there's no competition. What am I talking about? It's Marvel all the way, or something. I was like, okay, guys.
I mean, their product placement, they're product placing themselves. It's great.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all. I think it was funny. It was very She-Hulky for me, in a good way.
Just sticking real quick with that issue, there were two things that I found out. One, it settled a debate in my head on the correct pronunciation of Sal Buscema's last name.
Yeah.
Because I have heard, since I was a kid, I'm like, how do you pronounce that? And I've heard people pronounce it both ways, Buscema or Buscema. And in the book, he actually says, no, it's not B-U-S-S-K-E-M-E. It's Buscema. I'm like, okay, hey, I know how to pronounce his name now.
There you go. Right from his mouth.
And the other thing that I found out was that the editor that was yelling at everybody to get their stories in was a name that I wasn't familiar with. It was John Verborten.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Because he passed away later that year.
Oh.
He passed the issue that we were reading was published of January 1977. He passed away in December of 1977. Because I looked him up, I'm like, how do I not know an editor? Oh, because I was only 9 and he wasn't there after that.
Yeah. I wonder if he really was like an a-hole.
Well, if he really was, I don't think that since he's the editor, he would have allowed that to be printed.
That's true. Good point. But then that makes me a big fan of his. Because if you can let yourself get poked fun of like that, then you're a good sport.
Well, we do it all the time.
Yeah, that's why we're good sports.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so like I said before, in my opinion, I agree with you. I thought it was pretty all right. I usually these older books, it's easy for them to be like, ugh. But this did better than like the Iron Man Submariner combo book for me.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of internal dialogue in this series so far. And I was hoping it would be, even if it was a third less, it would be nicer to me.
Mm-hmm. There was times where I could see that the editing, maybe it was verboten, whatever, didn't catch a lot of mistakes. There was one panel, I don't remember which book, and I know there's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. It had to do with the father being, I think it was where he got suspended from being a principal.
Yeah.
And these two other characters in the frame were Richard Rider and his mother.
Okay.
And the two speech bubbles above them were, one said, "What?" And the other one went, "Dad?" But then unfortunately they were reversed, and the one saying "Dad" was his mother.
That's funny.
Yeah. I had to, I read it and went, wait. Well, that's a goof.
I noticed one in one of the later books where we've gotten to know the dreaded one.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Sphinx.
Sphinx, yeah. His like little mysterious side advisor, Sage.
Yes.
It was spelled mostly Sayge.
And one time they did it Sage.
Yep.
Yep, I saw that too.
And I was like, did I? No, that was a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, and there were other things that just, reading it, like, this doesn't make sense. You see he's in a battle, and most of the time you see his thought bubbles of what's going on in his brain.
Yeah.
But a few times he's like saying, so all I have to do now is, if I were to swing around and do that, and he's actually saying it as a speech bubble.
Oh, it's
like,
not a curly bubble?
Are you actually saying this out loud for your opponent to hear?
Now, if I could only just punch you in the chin.
I'm going to move. There were other times where something happens super quick, and he's like, oh, I can't believe he's coming down and hitting me that fast. I have no time to react. If you have that the same amount of time, if you have enough time to think all of that,
Yeah. But that is something that all of these old books have, though.
yeah.
It's not specific to this one. Because I remember...
But it happens so much in the series.
Blue Blazes.
Yeah, what the blue blazes?
2 words for you. Blue Blazes. Those words, I think they probably had that like 50 times in these first 12 books.
Yeah, they definitely tried to develop their own catchphrases and a whole host of characters they were trying to introduce.
Yeah, because they had like Caps, his friend.
Yeah.
And then Dylan, was that his name? The Jewish friend?
Yes.
Who's always like Boychik.
Boychik. Yes.
Is that just like dude?
Yeah, kind of.
Or buddy or whatever?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's a cute little... my first boss used to call me Boychik all the time.
Okay. Just a little term of endearment or whatever?
Yeah. Hey, Boychik, how you doing?
Gotcha.
It's kind of like, hey, kiddo, what's up? You know?
Right. And then he would always say like shalom and stuff, and I was like, okay, this guy's very Jewish. It's okay. It's just I've never seen it so explicit before.
And when Caps disappears for 3 days and the front door is wide open, they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I would have called the cops as soon as I saw the damn door open.
Yeah, that was a weird side quest.
Yeah.
Where Caps's uncle comes back as a faceless human-esque thing. Humanoid, yeah. From a million years into the future, where he was like being loved by a
entity,
single soul entity left from Earth, and it was a woman who fell in love with him, and he didn't love her back. Again, actually, this is kind of interesting. It's kind of a mirror of, not mirror, but the girl again attaching to the boy more than the boy attaching to the girl. With like Rich Rider and Ginger. And then he comes in, he blames his nephew, his poor high school nephew, for his issues, and ties him up, and it was about to drown him, and it was weird.
And then changed his mind at the last second, but he was too late to save him. Like, wait, so you got there and Nova was already saving him, but Nova barely
Right.
got him out. So apparently, if you were 10 seconds later, you wouldn't have made it.
Right. And then there's the sultry mistress in the old apartment. In the red and.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw it, I'm like, oh wow, they had MILFs in 1977. Okay.
Yeah. So he tells his nephew to talk to my ex-wife, tell her I'm alive and I still love her, and it was just, I don't know, it was a weird story plot.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Go ahead.
The one issue that started with the battle with Firefly. Again, for those that don't know, we read these digitally.
Yeah.
And the way they just like jumped right into it, I'm like, did I miss an issue?
Well,
was I supposed to know who this guy was and how Richard Rider knew how to fight him and everything else?
Well, it's sad at the beginning of that issue, if I recall correctly, something to the effect of, so here are the goings on between our stories that we've been telling. So it was just like a slice of life kind of thing. Now I have to look it up. It's bothering me that I don't know it.
Well, while you're looking it up, one of my favorite things was him questioning whether or not he is impervious or bulletproof in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
And he can move super fast and duck out of the way, but the one time he decides not to do that or doesn't react, he actually is shot 3 times in the chest. And he goes, oh, so I am bulletproof. I'm like, dude, I would have been like, I have more appreciation now for the movie Shazam where they did all the testing.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah.
I would have at least, I don't know, maybe let me hit myself in the arm with a hammer or something on the side before I.
Gra-
Oh wow! I just got shot 3 times in the chest. Oh well, yeah, I guess I'm bulletproof. I would have been like I quit smoking 4 years ago. I would have taken it back up again. The dude just shot me.
Right.
Oh my god.
A little graduation from step to step, maybe.
Yeah.
Step from 0 to 100. Okay, I found it. Let's see. So that book you were talking about with Firefly, it starts with, ever wonder what happens between issues of Nova? We'll sit back and enjoy because we're coming in on the end of a battle that is now in progress. So they kind of clue you into that part.
Cool.
So
Hey, one other note that I had here, which it's related to the Marvel thing, when he sees on the news that Marvel is looking for him.
yeah.
Did you catch the follow-up story to that? I mean, after they were finished, back to regular news.
In Calcutta, like
8,000 penguins escaped.
yeah.
My first thought was, why are there 8,000 penguins in Calcutta to escape?
I don't think there's 8,000 penguins in Antarctica.
No, they're delicious. That's why.
Oh.
I'm like, why would there even be 8,000 penguins in Calcutta? Maybe 80 I can understand in the zoo, but 8,000? Was there a giant ship that got overtaken by penguins and they were looking for a warmer climate and they escaped from what the hell? I don't know.
I wonder if they just kind of threw it in there to see if people would
People
notice.
like me would, yeah. Oh, I would have loved to read the No Prize or the comments that were made by the readers like an issue or two later.
Yeah.
Like, why are 8,000 penguins in Calcutta?
That's funny, actually. That's a good idea. Okay, so what do you think about the whole buildup of the Condor and this, what was his name, Powerhouse and,
Yeah.
and Diamond Head?
Diamond Head, yeah. Well, Diamond Head's introduction reminded me of why I thought comic books were so corny in that time. He's in issue 3.
Yeah.
The very first word in the comic is spoken by Diamond Head. It is bah, B-A-H. Bah, I'm better than these people. Bah, bah.
I say.
I'm like, nobody uses the word bah. But, and it's actually used multiple times throughout through comic books. I thought the Condor was the dumbest villain.
It was it was like unfinished or something.
He's like this super smart guy that picks a really dumb bird to emulate.
And also I was like, so the entire goal that he wanted was to be the crime boss of the world or something.
Yeah.
It was just really weird and vague and like a not fleshed out idea, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I think that he read somewhere that the Sphinx wanted to be the crime boss, but it was actually he wanted to be the emperor of the entire planet. And he's like, no, you know what? That sounds like a cool title. I want to be that. I'm pretty sure Kingpin would have kicked the crap out of him.
I mean, there was one point where Rich Rider was like, maybe I should have talked to Daredevil again, and I had one of those asterisks.
Yeah.
Check out Daredevil 176. I almost did that, but
Oh no, it was in the 140s. The
Was
issue
it?
was in the
Okay.
140. Yeah, because I was wondering. I think that's right before Miller started.
oh. But yeah, I mean that dude was weird, and it was a weird relationship with Powerhouse. I thought for sure Powerhouse was the bully that was beating him up in high school, because the way
Yeah.
he drew the face was almost identical.
I think that they tried to introduce too much in this whole series. New characters, new heroes, new villains, and then they try to tie him in with Thor or Spider-Man or Daredevil to bring him into canon with the rest of the comic books. If they
Yeah,
really were doing that, they should have actually had him fight some of the other. He gets into a fight with Rhino, and that's how he meets Spider-Man.
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, gets into a fight with Shocker, or gets into a fight with somebody else in and the fight goes into Hell's Kitchen, and you know, that.
Even if it's like a second rate rogue from one of their rogue galleries.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely had a ton of villains at this point in 1977.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm surprised not more of it was in space, because like before reading all this, when I thought of Nova, I thought of
The Nova Corps.
cosmic, yeah, and maybe that's coming, but I think there was only we were in space at the very beginning when the original Nova Prime was dying and passing his powers along, and then they briefly went out to space again with Condor and Powerhouse and Diamond Head when they were like mind controlling Nova, and that was about it.
Yeah, we still have another 13 issues left or something like that.
Yeah, there's 25 total.
So we've read 13, 12 plus 1, and now we got to read another 13 for next week. Maybe that will get more into the cosmic side of it or the origin of what's actually going on. But as soon as I saw the beginning, I'm like, okay, so who stole Green Lantern from? Is that how Hal Jordan got his powers exactly the same way they did it in the movie, or?
So there was a Green Lantern, Abensur, who crash landed on Earth, was dying, knew he was dying, and he told his ring to go find a worthy successor.
So the movie was accurate.
Yeah, and the ring finds Hal Jordan because Hal Jordan approaches the crash, and he's like, "Oh shit, what happened?" And it picks him, and he's imbued with the Green Lantern power. So it was very similar.
Okay. So yeah, if that's the case, then they definitely stole that from DC.
It goes back and forth. You know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that Stan Lee said about like mutants, there's only so many times you can be bitten by a radioactive insect, that we're running out of origin stories. So it wasn't just coming up with new characters; it was coming up with how these characters got their powers.
That's a good point.
There's definitely going to be some stolen ideas or basis on a lot of these things.
And I don't care. I mean,
no, since both companies did it, I don't hold either one of them like to be the bad guy.
Exactly. So, but yeah,
it's just kind of funny when you notice it.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that, but I was like, that's cool, whatever. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Did you care at all for that last like Spidey team up issue?
That was like Scooby Doo. That was Scooby Doo,
right? I was just
all right, I was waiting
for
the guy after he's like has his mask pull off. I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for these two superheroes.
Right, they literally do like pull the mask off of Photon.
Yeah,
which I was like, Photon? Are we not?
Monica Rambeau?
Yeah, but I can't. Maybe that was after this. I guess 80s.
Monica Rambeau. Oh yeah, that's definitely later. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess they were like, we had some bimbo named Photon in the 70s. Let's just take and reuse that name. He melted holes in walls. He wasn't very cool.
Bear. I got a visitor here.
Yeah.
The bear boy. So yeah, I think I may not read it as intensely as I did the first 12 issues, like trying to read every single word, because it does also fall in the trap of repeating the same things issue after issue.
Yeah, I found myself, like I told you, at the very end there. I would start to skim a little bit, and I actually did an experiment where I skimmed a little bit, and then I went back and read, and I didn't miss anything. So yeah. I think if you catch the first couple words and you can tell where it's going, then you're probably safe, and you could also see the pictures.
Did you notice also that the font and maybe just the coloring of the print seemed hard to read?
Sometimes, yeah, and that could be the scan job. I don't know, because these were.
Good.
These were scanned.
Yes.
But it's that font that they loved back then, man. It's just like this italic font, and it just sometimes it made words like really illegible.
But it seemed like when the last book we had to read was Spider-Man 171, and it was a clearer white behind it. I was like, oh wow, this is going to be easier to read.
Yeah, that's much easier. That's when Marvel has digitally remastered the book,
Oh.
and that's why it's like beautiful. And they probably did that. You probably read it that way because it was part of the original ASM run, which is like crown jewel kind of stuff.
Yep. Whoever scanned that and put it up probably got it from an omnibus or something.
Well, I think Marvel that's part from their digital library, and they just put it out. But
Okay.
we'll see. I mean, I think the only other Iron Man and Namor, that book was that way. But when you start getting into these slightly less popular ones, you're going to run to the scans like this, which is fine. Just takes a little bit more. They're darker a little bit, and sometimes the ink, blends on some of the bolded words. I was like, abhorrent? Or something. I think that was the word that I was like really struggling with.
I mean, there were several times where I took my glasses off. I'm like, okay, it's not me.
Right. Yeah, at that point you got to use context clues and kind of.
Do I got to get a cup of coffee, smack myself in the face? I'm like, still blurry. No, it's not. It's not me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, my birthday just passed, which I'm not asking for happy birthdays from people, but I hit another one of those milestone numbers, and next thing I know, I can't read. Everything's blurry. I'm like, come on, man.
It needed to happen so fast.
I used to be able to read comic books from 20 feet away without glasses. Now I feel like Mr. Magoo.
Well, so should we rate it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. What are you thinking?
4.
Oh. Sad that you read it. Or you feel worse off reading it.
Well, I consider 5 the neutral line.
Yes.
So this was a little bit more work than enjoyment.
Okay.
I mean, there was some nostalgia in it and the way they wrote things, but I think if I had to read 3 issues of it, I think it would be a little more positive. The fact that I, again, on my own choice, powered through all 13 issues starting at 6 o'clock this morning. It became more work than fun.
Yeah.
But it wasn't horrible, so just below the Mendoza line, I guess you'd say.
I'll give it a 5. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I might go as high as a 5, but I'm not going to put anything in the positive.
I'll give it a 5.5.
Okay.
I agree with you. These older books, they're tough reads, man. Just the way they're laid out, how much speech bubbles there are. At least this one didn't have a lot of like colored block expositions, and if they were just like one line. It wasn't like a paragraph
or a whole page.
Yeah. But
I don't think if they bring Nova to the MCU that it will be this version.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it would translate well.
I think the rumored version is going to be Sam Alexander, which I think came out in like 2004 or something.
Marvel now point 1, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I've got a copy. I think it's a 9.6 maybe, but and I have a copy of this Nova also. So.
Yeah, I've been wanting to read this for a while ever since I got it.
Yeah, and you got a better grade copy than I do too. So
it's really affordable right now. But
it's a very cool cover.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. Well,
we don't have to pick a book for next week. We know what we're reading. We're reading part 2.
Yeah, let me pull up. Volume 2 is 13 through 19. Defenders 62 through 64. FF Annual 12. and Marvel 2-in-1 Annual 3.
Aha. Okay, so it's not just reading 13 through 25.
No. So
Okay.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 7 Novas in a row.
Mm-hmm.
62, 63, 64 Defenders. So that's 10 books. Oh, God.
FF Annual, you said, right?
And then 2-in-1 Annual.
So it's 12 books.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are annuals, so they're double size.
Ah, fuck. That's right.
The good thing is that I'm going to hope that those books were written for an existing Fantastic Four and well, Marvel 2-in-1 was kind of campy too.
But at least we'll get some.
I like reading books with the Thing though.
Maybe we'll get some. It'll be more of a breakup of. Like, I doubt this is the same writer. Because Nova's from 1976, Defenders is from 72. Oh, but I guess it's number 64 and 60, so it's probably the same. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
And I don't know who was in the Defenders at that time. I think the members changed, like the Avengers over the years.
So, yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Nova Classic Volume 2.
Da, 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 da. Is there a volume 3 at that point then, or no?
Yes, that collects 20 through 25, FF 204 to 206, and 208 to 21. Wow.
Okay, we'll decide after volume 2 if we're going to continue this journey on to volume 3. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, but you, as the viewer or listener, if you're on the podcast, can veto us, I guess you'd say. If we decide, oh, we don't want to go with this, and you put in the comments you really want us to read these books because you think they're better or something like that, let us know, and we will absolutely take it into consideration.
Yeah.
But if it's like root canal, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah. I don't think I have too much more to say about that first leg.
No, I ran through my notes. I'm good. I'm really feeling bad for all those penguins.
Well, yeah, don't forget to check us out on Patreon if you really want to influence the direction of the channel. That's where we're going to have polls for what we want to read next and things like that. You can suggest things anywhere. But for $3, you can get all the behind-the-scenes stuff that we have. You can have access to our virtual get-togethers like we just had. You can get access to extra features from videos. We don't put them all on YouTube. We put extra pics and extra reveals on our Patreon only. We put this podcast that you're hearing or listening to or watching earlier than on. We put it out earlier than to the rest of the public.
Mm-hmm. More of a sneak preview.
Trying to think what else. Watch-alongs for things that we do watch. We no longer do them on YouTube. So if you want to watch a show that we're watching together, where we put a time code in, and then it's like you're watching it with us, along with us, so you can start it right when we go to 0. That's on Patreon as well.
Yeah, we don't show the entire episode in the video. That would be piracy.
Yes.
So
I put the timer up, and I leave the video on for 5 seconds, turn it off 5 seconds, on 5 seconds, turn it off 5 seconds, just for like the first minute or so you can make sure it's really synced. And then it's just me and Rich.
Yeah. So this way you can watch it on your platform or whatever and have us on a separate screen, and it's like we're there with you.
And we can all
Eating
go. We can all go.
Popcorn.
Oh shit, Zeb Aurelio's.
Or you could also, join Greg in saying, "It's all right, Rich. Don't have to cry. It's okay."
You crying?
Shut up.
Really?
Well, I will be.
Sometimes we do experimental stuff like this last time in the Mandalorian finale. We watched it separately, recorded ourselves separately, and then I mashed them together. And you get a few gems out of that. A lot of gobbledygook, but a few gems.
Yes. I still love that, though, because you're watching the end credits, and I've already watched it hours earlier. So you're watching the end credits, and I'm just rambling on. You're just staring at this, like, you got your head down, you're staring at the screen with this, like,
I'm waiting for a reveal or a post credit scene.
Yeah, but you can see you're getting aggravated, and I just keep talking. And at one point, I went, "All right, so I'm going to shut up now." And on cue, you went, "Really?" And I'm like, "Wow, we couldn't have timed that better if we wanted to."
And then I was like, I said a couple things, like I was annoyed or whatever, and I was like, "All right, back to you, Rich." And then you had already turned off your video. So that kind of stuff is funny. But yeah, if you want to get on that action, patreon.com/Team Ohana. We'd love to have you there. We got a few things up our sleeves for that coming up here. But if you're here on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, click the notifications, leave a comment. We want to interact with you guys. Tell us what you thought about this if you've read it. If you don't know about it but just want to comment on it, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do, keep it comics, keep it clean. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else, is there?
No, that's it.
Okay, I did it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, family, thank you. Until next time, mahalo.